Hello, GymbirdFit. My name is Esther Shogo, and I currently live in Dallas, Texas. Um, yes, so I am just so glad to have come across this. I saw this in an article. My Google homepage had it as a recommended article, so I clicked on it and I read it, and I was like, Chief Step Officer, I can totally do that. That is something that is definitely in my alley. So basically, born and raised in Cary, North Carolina, which is about 10 to 15 minutes from Raleigh, North Carolina. So I was always born with the trees and the forest and the trails and the parks, and so it's been I've always been in nature. It's just something that I personally love. I currently work in document management for a clinical research company, and I've been remote for about since COVID. Actually, my job went remote, and I haven't really been back in the office since. It's kind of been really cool. Was able to move to Texas, and I've gotten to see travel and see different places while I work, and it's been a great experience. Um, so yeah, my activities have always been in the outdoors. My parents, my family, they're originally from Kenya. So with our family, nature has always been we've always had such a close bond with nature. My mom has always took us to the park, made us ride bikes. We've always been outside. My parents' house actually literally feels like we're in a forest. So I've always been outside, outdoors. We've always been walking, and we've camped and done all these things. And it's actually a pretty interesting story because my parents were athletic. My mother did javelin. My dad ran track. They were always an athletic family. And when me and my sister popped out and we were 5 foot, they were like, well, I don't know if they can be sporty, so we're gonna just throw them in the arts. And that's what they did. So a lot of my activity too was in dance, cheer, musical theater, which can be very challenging. All of those things. And so I have always been active. It's always been something that has always been such a huge part of my life. Um, so basically, my fitness journey has been very, very, I would say, it's had its ups and downs. Of course, I was always active. College, I was also very active. Um, and when COVID hit, it was just, everything just kind of went to a standstill. My job went remote, so I worked at home. We couldn't leave, so I never was an emotional eater before, but I think just being in the house all the time, not knowing when is this gonna end, just having all this anxiety and my fears that I could originally just, if I was outside, I could cleanse myself, brush things off, things like that were slowly starting to creep up, like, oh, you don't have to work out, it's not that bad, you don't have to do this, like all these kind of negative, things would just, creep up in my head. So I definitely emotionally ate a lot during COVID. I gained a lot of weight. And it was actually very, very, it was very sad for me. Um, just because I was always so fit. Um, it was a lot. It was a lot to process. But I have come through it after COVID. I really, you know, it was really hard for me, but what I've come to realize through my fitness journey is you have to take things step by step. With After COVID, I just really felt like my expectations on how my body should look like now versus what it was before would kill me. It would just make me feel like, you know what, it's hopeless. It's hopeless. I'm just not going to do it. But I think, many times it's more than just the fitness. It's loving yourself. It's loving yourself, and loving yourself in the moment you're in too was something my sister told me during my journey, and it's really, really helped. So it was a struggle to get back on that horse, but I did. I started off just walking in the parks, and I tried different parks, just so I wouldn't get bored. And it just kind of slowly, crept up to where I was walking all the time. And another thing that I had come out with knowing after COVID is that I couldn't just crash diet. And I think that was something that I thought I could do post COVID, is kind of crash diet and do these like crazy fads to like get back to my weight again. And I would get back to my weight again. Oh, I surely would. But just as quickly as I get there, I go back to like the way I was before, sometimes even worse. So I realized that I have to change my mindset. It has to be a lifestyle. That is something that I feel like in this day and age, nobody wants to hear that, because that actually consists of work and determination. But I just feel like knowing it like that, it kind of helps you, it settles you into knowing that the quick results may not come as quickly as you want them to. And that with time, seeing that progression actually makes it a lot better. Knowing that you could see little by little, you're getting to the finish line is always, it feels so much better than like waking up one day, you're just so, after a crash diet, you're not happy about the weight loss because you didn't eat anything. You're eating air, and you're working out to death. You don't feel good. But I think when you work out as a lifestyle, as making it a lifestyle change, you feel better about it. And I think that's what's happened with me. I had to mentally block those fear statements that would float into my head. I had to learn how to meditate. I had to learn how to do my morning affirmations. I do that every day. I wake up in the morning. I do my self-love, self-confidence affirmations. I do my yoga in the morning. I have my tea. And then I'll work. And then in the afternoon is when I'll do 30 minutes of either walking, or if it's too hot or cold, I'll just go to the gym and do the treadmill. And I'll just do that. And that is just, and I'll do my strength training, throughout the week as well. It's just been a journey. And I love the fact that, that you guys are wanting, there was no real requirement for who could be a chief step officer, because everybody, it's great, because I'm the average person. I'm a work in progress, and I'm getting towards my goal, and I love it. I've lost about 10 pounds so far. It's been about, I would say 1.5 months. No, not 1.5 months, like 2 months. Changed my diet completely. Not entirely. I still have my cheat meals, but I have, I started eating a lot. It's a little bit more plant-based. More lentils are in my diet. Less cutting back on the meats. That's hard to do since I moved to Texas. It is really hard to cut back on meat, but I have. It's just, drinking water. That's another thing that people just, jump over that. But that's another thing. Learning how to drink water in all different types of ways. I think it's the mental first, and then you do the physical, and then, it's been a journey. But to think about where I came from during COVID to now, I wouldn't change that for the world. I enjoy it, and I think I'd be perfect for the CSO position because one thing I don't see, like one of the oh actually I want what I wanted to tell you is that what got me out of it, what got me out of that COVID slump was actually a YouTuber. And let me see, sorry, I wrote it down. Her name is Black Yogi Nico Marie. It was really interesting because I've always, in college, I did a lot of Pilates and yoga. And it was something that has always made me feel good. And it was interesting because I was wondering, I'm like, is there any women of color that do yoga on YouTube? And I came across her, and I loved her vibe and her energy, and she just seemed so non-judgmental. Like, have she has very many beginner-friendly monthly challenges that I started doing, and I did it day by day, and it'd be like 20 minutes, and I would just feel so good about myself, just knowing that I did 20 minutes, you know. It was great, and I've continued to work and do her videos and do her challenges. It's been awesome. But that's kind of how I started. But to get to where I am now, it's yeah, I wouldn't change it, and I just love that you have this platform. I think more women of color should walk more. It's something that it's not, really talked about, but I love the parks. I love nature. And I think, especially as women, you know, being close to nature, it's just, it's such a nice experience. But yeah, I think I'd be perfect. The requirements for the recording, I definitely can do. During COVID, I got really into streaming and social media and video games and and Legos. Actually, Legos helped me with my anxiety. I started building during COVID because I love plants, and I actually also majored in plant biology. I build flower sets. And so I started building flower sets, and I'd stream it, and people would talk to me and chat to me about their day, their issues. And I think it's so much fun. I don't do it as much as I once did because COVID is over, of course. But I will once in a while come on, and if I find a set online, I'll build it. But that's another thing that I really love doing. And so, yeah, the requirement of making a 2-minute video, I certainly can do that. I think it'd be great too because I actually got into the reason I'm actually moving back to NC, and that's because I got into the Tulsa Remote Program. And the Tulsa Remote Program is a program in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where you have to stay there for a year, and it's exclusively for remote workers. And my sister and I both got into it, and we're supposed to move to Tulsa late September, early October. So I think it would be great because then I can also record myself going to Tulsa parks and doing their trails. I have never been to Tulsa before in my life. I'm going to visit in August, the first week of August, just to check it out. Put down payment on our apartment, and yeah, I think it'll be interesting. It's great because I can stream that. I can stream, of course, my progression, and I think this would be a perfect thing for me. I hope we get to meet. And thank you for this opportunity, and I hope we do talk soon. Thank you.